It's currently nearly mid-December 2020 here in Greater Manchester, and I thought this was the right time for me to share with you a deep, dark secret that I have. It's something I like to confess, and when I tell people this thing, it's not unusual for people to be confused, surprised, and I've even had people get angry with me or quite annoyed at what I'm about to tell you. And that thing is this: I don't really like Christmas. Now, don't get me wrong, I really love Christmas Day. I love spending time with my family and friends. That's great. I like that. It's all the other surrounding madness that I have a problem with. I don't think I'm alone with that. I suspect there's a lot of people out there who don't look forward to Christmas and struggle with Christmas and find it really stressful. So that's why I wanted to make this video. Now, if you're one of those people who loves Christmas and has no problem with Christmas, then great, I'm happy for you. Off you go. I don't want to waste any more of your time. Why not go and wrap something or drape tinsel on something? But I don't think it's unrealistic for people to struggle a little bit with this time of year if you consider several things. Firstly, there's unrealistic expectations, I think, nowadays. It can't be small, it's got to be big. If you look at the adverts, your Christmas dinner has got to be massive, it's got to have so much food there's no room for anyone to actually sit at the table. You've expected to wear certain things, send certain cards, buy certain presents, drink certain things, go to certain events, visit certain people. The list goes on and on and on. You're even expected now to wear a Christmas jumper at certain times, which I refuse to do. And it's even expected that it will snow. And how often does that happen? Really what they should do is have the expectation it's going to be cold, wet and grey, then we'd all be happy. There's also massive expense. It's really expensive when you think of the presents, the cars, the food, the drink, everything we've talked about. It's expensive, and it's getting more expensive, especially if you've got children who watch adverts and give letters to Santa saying they want a PlayStation 5 that costs, what, £400-500, and you've got several children, you multiply that. Yeah, money's an issue at Christmas, I think, for a lot of people. A real problem, and that leads to stress, and it can be a very stressful time. There's a lot of work involved, there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of conflict as well. There's families come together, and families can be brilliant. If your family loves each other and they all get on like a house on fire, count your blessings, because some families don't. There is friction, there is conflict, there is tension, and they're forced together sometimes at Christmas. And then what do? We throw alcohol into the mix. That always makes things better, doesn't it? It's a wonder any of us participate at all. And that's just a normal Christmas. This year, 2020, we have the added joy of a global pandemic, COVID-19. I'm speaking to you from Greater Manchester in the UK. We've just come out of a national lockdown, and we are currently in maximum tier 3 restrictions, which means that there are restrictions on how many people can be together, socialising in general, seeing people. It's not a wonderful formula for a fantastic Christmas, is it? So you've got to add that onto it. And that's just the fun stuff. Before you even talk about the illness itself, you may have had the illness. You may have the illness right now. I had it about 6-7 weeks ago along with my wife, and we're still dealing with some of the ongoing health issues. Maybe it's not the disease, but the other effects like employment. Are you furloughed? Are you self-employed? Have you been made redundant? Are you just trying to get into work and find it even more difficult? So it's a very tricky year, 2020. Hopefully 2021 will be a lot better, and this time next year we'll just be depressed about Christmas and not the disease. But what can you do? Let's try and be positive. What can you do this Christmas? Firstly, what I would say to you is, I don't want to make out Christmas is an evil or bad thing, but my first piece of advice to you is this: don't be bullied by Christmas. What I mean by that is, we've talked about the expectations, about all the things that you think or people say you should do. None of it is compulsory. You don't have to do any of it. Be assertive, be strong in yourself, and say to yourself, what do you want to do and what do you not want to do? What can you afford to do and what can you not afford to do? Be honest with yourself and don't be pushed into things that you don't want to do. Try and define what your Christmas is. If you want a great big Christmas with loads of everything and you can afford it, great. But if you want a really small, compact Christmas that doesn't break the bank, that's fine too. Okay, that makes sense if that's your world. You might want to discuss this with the other members of your family and get some kind of an agreement, but you decide what you're willing to do and also decide what you're not willing to do. We call it boundaries and limitation. It's like working out where the edge is. This is what we're going to do, but this is what we're not going to do because this is silly. We can't afford it. We can't stretch to it. Or with the COVID-19 restrictions, we're not allowed to do it. Okay? So you define what is your Christmas. Get it clear in your mind. This is what we're doing this year. I think it's important for each of us as well that you pick one thing and you say, that's for me. That's going to be my one little thing. Because if you don't, sometimes, especially if you're in a situation where you're a parent or you're taking care of other people or you're in a situation where lots of people are depending on you, it's very easy for us to get swallowed up in all the stuff we have to do for work and for the people and for all the other things going on. And we can lose out that we think, I get nothing out of it. What's in it for me kind of thing. Sounds a bit selfish, especially at Christmas, but I think it is important that you pick one thing and you say, do you know what? I'll do everything that's expected of me or that I'm willing to do. I don't mind if it's for everyone else. I just want that one thing. It might be one, and I'm not talking about gifts necessarily. It might be just, I just want to sit down and have a cup of tea with this person, or I just want to spend an hour having a chat with that person, or I just want to phone this person, or I want to read that book, or I want to watch that film, and that's all I want. And make sure you get it. Communicate that to the other people around you and say, look, I'll do whatever you want, I just need that. And at least then you can walk away and say, I had a great Christmas because I did exactly what I wanted, which was that one thing. The last thing I would say to you is, after everything we've talked about, if you are struggling with employment or money or just stress or you're just down, you're just feeling miserable, everyone around you seems happy and they're all having a great time and you're just genuinely not, and it feels like everyone else is on the happy bus and you're on your own in the miserable bus, and believe me, I know what that feels like. Get help. Call someone. I'm going to put some numbers and some contacts for you at the end of this video. Don't ignore them. If you are feeling down and you are struggling, and if you're struggling with money or you're struggling just putting food on the table, or you want to find a job and you're really struggling to move that forward on your own, or you want to get some training and build your skills level up so you can start the new year with a bit of a fresh start and try and rebuild a little bit, especially after the pandemic, you need help. And we all need to ask for help now and again. Don't be too proud and don't be too big. That's silly. We all need to ask for help. So look at the contacts. If you want training, I'm the guy you need to speak to in Stockport. If you want to get into work or improve your employment situation, we have a great employment team here at Stockport Homes. Check them out. Give them a call. Don't make the mistake of thinking, I'll do it later. Do it now, because you know if you leave it till later, you won't do it. So pick up the phone and do it now. And if you're really, really, really struggling, really down, or you think you might be on that path, then there's the Samaritans, which might sound extreme, but it's there, and far better you called them and have a chat than any other grim alternative, which I don't want to explore. So yeah, I do hope you have a great Christmas. I do hope you have your Christmas, the one you want. So let's be realistic. I am a bit of a grouch and a grumpy Scrooge at Christmas, but I do hope the very best for you, and I do hope that 2021 is a much better year. Thank you. Take care. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy